अरे मामा तुम
Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome back to the third lecture of 16th day of 21-day training program. Actually, the resource person is we are trying to connect with our resource person, but it may take a little bit, time. Maybe 4 or 5 minutes he will take. So we will wait for him. He is actually getting difficulty in connection. So just wait for the 5 minutes. Thank you.
Hello. I think your mic is mute, right? Your mic is still
Good afternoon, sir. Good to see you, sir, after a long time, sir. I think it is almost 12 years past. We are seeing each other, sir.
Yeah, almost 12 years.
Yes.
So my voice is clear now?
Absolutely, sir. Absolutely clear. You may run your slide also just to check whether it is working well or not.
Okay. Let it me. How to do it here? Because I never do it with the.
Just wait, sir. Wait, sir. Wait, sir. I'm allowing you, sir. Wait. It is allowed now, sir. Please.
Wait. Is it visible?
Sir.
Nasir?
Yes, I can see your screen, sir. I can see you.
Okay,
I can see your screen.
So it's running good?
Not yet, sir. Your PPT is not open, sir. Your PPT
Check
is
my
not
screen,
open.
should be.
I can see your screen, sir, but PPT is not open.
Okay, let me see again what happened.
I think you open your PPT first, then start sharing your screen, sir. Then it will be working fine.
Okay. Now, is it?
Yes, fine, sir. Absolutely fine.
Okay.
Right, sir. Right. So, okay, let me, sir, let me introduce to you the parts about the participant. Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to the third lecture of 16th day of 21-day training program. Our resource person, Dr. Ajay sir, has already joined us. So let me have this opportunity. I would request to Dr. Kaushal to introduce formally to our resource person and brief of the about the program. Thank you, Dr. Kaushal. Over to you.
Thank you, Dr. Nasir. In today's second session, this is our last lecture of today, second session, which is given by Dr. Ajay Kumar. He is a well-known scientist in ICFRE, and he did his postgraduate in forest economics and management from FRI Dehradun. He joined ICFRE and working here from about 12 years of experience in different course subjects like environmental impact assessment, forest mensuration, forest management, environmental economics, and forest economics. He has compiled more than 10 projects as a PI and co-PI, and presently he is handling 3 projects as a PI and 6 as co-PI. He has published 1 book and several research papers in national and international journals. Presently he is working as a scientist D in Rainforest Research Institute, Jorat, which is a research institute of ICFRE. That is one of the 9 research institutes. There are 9 research institutes under the ICFRE, and that is one of them. And situated in Assam. And he's working on economic valuation of ecotourism in Manas Tiger Reserve, as well as assessment of demand and supply of timber, fuel wood, and fodder in Northeast India, and the preparation of aerometric models for estimation of volume of trees outside the forest in Assam. So this is a brief about you, sir. You are doing very well, and you are handling so many projects. And now it is over to you, sir, to deliver your valuable talk. Over to you, sir.
Yeah, thank you, Dr. Kaushal. So I am Ajay Kumar, I'm scientist D here in Rainforest Research Institute, Jorat, Assam. And the topic assigned
We
to
can't
me,
hear you, sir. I think your mic is disconnected.
No.
It should not be, yeah?
Yeah. Audible, sir. Audible.
Audible, na?
Yeah, audible.
Okay,
I'm audible?
Yeah.
So the topic assigned to me, that is valuation of ecosystem services, or more precisely, valuation of forest ecosystem goods and services, we can say. So we will be talking about rise of ecosystem services concept, and after that, ecosystem services and human well-being, how the ecosystem services are connected with human well-being, what are the types of ecosystem services, and what is the methods of economic valuation of ecosystem services. And one more concept, that is total economic valuation concept. We'll be talking about that also. Valuation tools, and some slight insight in payments for ecosystem services. And then one case study I will discuss, which I have done, that is economic valuation of ecosystem services of Dibru-Sakhwa Biosphere Reserve. Actually, in the topic, Manas is mentioned, but Manas is ongoing project, is not completed yet. So that's why, which I have completed 2 years back, that is Dibru-Sakhwa Biosphere Reserve in Assam. So we will talk about that. So first, that is rise of ecosystem service concept. how the concept arise and what it is. So that was old concept of ecosystem goods or products. So everything was considered as goods, tangible goods or intangible goods. It is almost 50 years back. But later on, the concept changed into ecosystem goods and services. So what they did goods, all the tangible goods categorized as goods, and all intangible goods was categorized as services. But now this concept is also not in practice. During 2005, a document came, that is Millennium Ecosystem Assessment. Okay, and it was a global initiative set up in 2000 to assess how ecosystem change would affect human well-being. So this was a very innovative work and global initiative involving more than 300 scientists. So what they did, so they categorized all benefits that people obtain from ecosystem as services. So they removed the concept of goods. Everything is now service. Even tangible or intangible, everything is service now. So that assessment identified 24 different ecosystem services. What they are? So first we will discuss something about Millennium Ecosystem Assessment, what it was and how it processed. So it was a milestone in both its findings and methodological approach. The first time they give a concept of ecosystem valuation also. So the MA was undertaken by international network of scientists and other experts with more than 300 authors from 95 different countries. So it was a very big work supported by UN. It was multi-scale assessment, including component assessment undertaken at multiple spatial scales. They conducted numerous studies, small studies in different countries, and they compiled it. They synthesized this. And the Millennium Assessment found that between 1950 to 2000, the last 50 years of last century, there was a substantial loss in diversity of life on Earth and a decline in 60% of the 24 services which they examined. Means 60% of these 24 services were almost gone. So this is the website of Millennium Ecosystem Assessment. There are different reports, full reports, synthesis reports, statements of MA board. You can freely download those. And these are very good documents. Everyone should read it who is working in ecosystem assessment or ecosystem services. So now they categorize all ecosystem services into 4 parts. One part was the provisioning service, second one is regulating service, third one is cultural service, and fourth one is supporting service. What they are, we will discuss one by one. So provisioning service first, these are basically product obtained from the ecosystem, which were the tangible goods earlier. Now all are under the provisioning services. Second one is regulating service. Basically, these are the process or benefits obtained from the regulation of ecosystem processes. We will go through the examples also in next slide. So cultural services, these are the non-material benefits obtained from the ecosystem, like ecotourism, etc., etc. One is supporting, last one is supporting service. Basically, these are the service necessary for the production of all other ecosystem services. Directly, they are not involved in human value, but these supporting services are supporting other 3 types of services, like provisioning services, regulating services, cultural services. So everyone is able to see this photo, I think. So this photo is related with the provisioning services. That lady is carrying fodder and fuel wood. Okay, so basically food, fodder, fuel wood, fibers, pharmaceuticals, timber or other woods, bamboos, and animal products, and n number of other products also. These are examples of provisioning services. Like regulating services, this is the photo related with the pollination, we can say. So regulating services like air quality regulation, biodiversity regulation, pollination, shoreline protection like mangroves, soil stabilization and erosion control, water quality regulation, and waste treatment and processing, water flow regulation, nutrient regulation, natural hazard regulation. These are type of regulating services. There are n number of services, and main one is carbon storage and sequestration, climate regulation. That is, these are the few most important types of regulating services. And cultural services. This one photo was taken by someone in Kaziranga National Park in Assam, depicting the ecotourism or recreational services or cultural services. So, cultural services are basically cultural diversity, spiritual and religious values, knowledge system. It may be traditional or formal, educational values. The forests are having different type of values. These are forest having educational value also, forest having inspirational value also, forest having aesthetic value also, social relations, forests help in building social relations between tribal communities. Fishing societies are dependent on the forest services or ecosystem services, more precisely. Sense of place means existence. People value the existence also of some ecosystem or some forest or some natural areas. Cultural heritage values and recreation and ecotourism values. So these are the cultural services. These are few types of cultural services. And supporting services. These are image of photosynthesis. So like soil formation, nutrient cycling, and primary production. So these are supporting services. These services are required to obtain biomass, to obtain oxygen, to obtain carbon dioxide, to sequestration of carbon dioxide, different things. So basically, these are not direct services. These are basically supporting services to the other services. So how these services are interlinked with human well-being as per the Millennium Ecosystem Assessment. So these are the services I already told. Provisioning, regulating, cultural, and these are supporting, which are required for generation of other services. And basically, what is this? This is basically is the life on Earth, that is biodiversity. So, if you talk about constituents of well-being, क्या हो सकते हैं? That is security, like personal safety, secure resource access, security from diseases, and etc. Basic material for good life, like adequate livelihood, sufficient nutritious food, shelters, access of food, health, strength, feeling of wellness, access to clean water, and good social relations also, like social cohesion, mutual respect, ability to help others. There are n number of others also. And one more thing, if these are available, we should have the freedom of choice and actions. We should have opportunity to able to achieve what an individual values doing and being. Because if everything is available, but we don't have the choice, so no means of availability. We should have the choice also. What should we need? What should we take? What should we not take? So how these are interlinked like this. So provisioning services are basically more connected with the security and basic material for good life. So there are two things. One is arrow color and one is arrow width. So arrow color shows the potential of mediation by socioeconomic factors. Potential of mediation of ecosystem services by socioeconomic factors. And arrow width is intensity of linkage of ecosystem services with human well-being. So the highest linkage is with provisioning services to basic material for good life, because all provisioning services, what are the provisioning services? Provisioning services basically are the materials, tangible materials. So like regulatory services, these are more connected with the security, obviously basic material for good life, health, and like that also. So this is the concept given by the Millennium Ecosystem Assessment, and whole economics of ecosystem services based on these concepts only. So there is one conceptual framework also, like suppose there is a climate change. So climate change, what climate change will do? It will change the condition of ecosystem. What condition? Biophysical condition, chemical condition, or biodiversity condition. Suppose there is biodiversity changing biodiversity. So there will be changing all services also, because services directly linked with the biodiversity. So there will be change in provisioning services, change in regulating services, change in other services also. So if there is change in these services, definitely there will be change in human well-being. There will be change in income will be affected. There will be change in health conditions. There will be change in socioeconomic conditions also. Okay. And if there is change in income, suppose. So income, what income will do? If someone is having plenty of money, so they don't have to think what should buy, what should not be buy. But if someone is having income limited, so he has to think he has to prioritize the things basically. So he will evaluate trade-offs. And when evaluation is there, the concept of valuation of ecosystem services comes in the picture. So this is a diagram why economic valuation of ecosystem services is required. See, this is man-made ecosystem, okay, like domestic cattle, vehicles, and agriculture and industries. And this is natural system. Natural system is the basically providers of all kind of ecosystem services. So the space is declining every day. That is, natural space is declining every day. So if we want to save those, we have to give some values. We have to find that, we have to establish that the value of this natural system is more than this. Only when we can save this. So why perform economic value? So basically, it is required for the cost-benefit analysis and environmental policy making. In case of like excessive pollution is there, so we have to value the pollution in monetary terms. Protection of natural environment, if we want to protect, like in earlier slide, so we have to give some value. This is more valuable than the alternate use of forest. Legal claims and natural resource damages, like compulsory afforestation program is there. So every developmental project is coming in some forest area, they have to calculate net present value. So economic valuation has to be done for the calculation of NPV also. And one more new thing is environmental accounting. So it may be national environmental accounting, it may be state level, it may be even some firm level or organization level also. So India has adopted the satellite national accounting system, including which give the way for the environmental accounting also to the traditional accounting, like green GDP and all those. So different individual firms usually do the corporate social responsibilities. So they include the how much they have provided to the environment. So they also go for the valuation part. So now, despite the importance of ecosystem services to the people, everyone knows that there is very much importance of every ecosystem services or natural places or forest or environment. So in the past, many have been taken for granted and being viewed as free and infinite. That's why they are declining. But these are not free or not infinite. When there is scarcity, we have to go for the valuation, because we have to go for the trades-offs. We have to prioritize a thing, and for the prioritization, we have to give the value to each service. So there is undervaluation of ecosystem services in the past, or even today also. So it is generally considered that any ecosystem services which do not have any monetary value are generally not accounted in the decision calculus. Many times, when a factory is being set up, it is not considered that how much pollution it will create, and that pollution, what effect of that pollution on the environment, on the health of people. Now, EIA exercise is considering some of those, not fully. So EIA is also EIA means environmental impact assessment. It also is a part of type of economic valuation of ecosystem services. So it has resulted in these wider economic benefit being underemphasized in developmental and conservational policies, planning, and management practices. And one more thing, economic value is much broader than financial value. How? Like someone is coming to visit any national park, he's paying like 250 rupees or 300 rupees or 400 rupees. But he's spending his time, he's spending some money in traveling also, and his willingness to pay for the conservation is much more than. So economic value is much higher or much broader than financial value. Financial value is just a price tag, but economic value is overall role of that service in economics or economy. So there is a concept of total economic value, because we can't directly value the provisioning service as whole in a bundle or regulating service as whole in a bundle. We have to value each and every small service separately. So there is a concept of total economic valuation or value. So these are two types of value. One is use value and second one is non-use value. So according to the type, there are valuation approach also or accounting subject also. So use value are further divided into direct use value. These are basically resources used directly. All provisioning services comes under direct use values, and some cultural and amenity services also, like recreation. Second one is indirect use value. So resources used indirectly, like regulating services like flood prevention, water purification. And one is option value. Although these are use value, but not going to be used in current time. The person or individual is going to use those values in possible near future, his own future. Okay. So all services, including supporting services, can be categorized under option values. One is bequest value. It is like of option value, but in case of option value, the individual himself then going to use in future. But in case of bequest value, some services are having bequest values. Like these are going to be used by the future generations. So all services can have the bequest values, like reserve forest. Reserve forest will be used by our future generations, not by us. That's why it's reserved forest. It's reserved for the future generations. A non-use value is existence value. There are only two non-use values, that is bequest value and existence value. And two are direct use value, direct use value, and indirect use value. And one is in between, that is option value. So existence value basically are the right of existence. Like we are happy that some forest is existing there, although we are not going to visit that. Like in case of Kashmir also, everyone is happy in India. Okay, Kashmir with India. But almost 99% are not going to visit that or not going to enjoy the beauty of nature of Kashmir. So, but Kashmir is having existence value for every Indian. So this type of values are also associated with numerous ecosystem services. So just इसको छोड़ देते हैं. Next is valuation methods. So there are different type of valuation methods. So like preference methods are there. That is revealed preference methods. In this case, we directly ask from the people how much they are giving value actually. So we will go one by one again after one or two slides. So revealed preference method involved market price method, unique price method, and total cost method. So these are terminology only. We will describe each and every one in detail. Second one is stated preference method, contingent valuation method, contingent choice experiment method, and some are the cost-based approaches like damage cost avoided method, replacement cost method, or substitution method. And third one is benefit transfer. Benefit transfer basically are like it is literature review. Like someone has done valuation of some services in some other place, so we can use those values for similar places. Again, valuation is not required. So this method is known as the benefit transfer method. So like as per the uses of services or use values of the services, so our direct use values can be given valuation by market analysis, cost methods, production methods. All indirect use values can also be done by same market analysis, cost methods, unique pricing method. Option value can be done by the replacement method, cost method, mitigation cost method, avoided cost method, and bequest values can only be valued by contingent valuation method or contingent choice method. And existence value can also be done by those only. And these two methods basically are the hypothetical things. We have to create a hypothetical market. We have to ask the persons how much they are going to pay for the clean environment and all those different kind of things. So market price based method kya ho sakte hain? What are these? So under these methods, we directly estimate economic values for ecosystem services that are bought and sold in the commercial market. And what are those? All the provisioning services comes under this category and their valuation can be done on the market price based method. Like we can directly go to the market and can ask the persons what is the price of that particular commodity, like fuel, wood, fodder, timber, all the provisioning services. Second one is the productivity method. This method is basically for the regulating services. Like this, what they are doing, they are calculating the increment. So estimates economic values for ecosystem products or services that contributes to the production of commercially marketed good. Like carbon sequestration. What is the result of carbon sequestration? The result is biomass production. And biomass, everywhere is biomass. Fuel wood is biomass, wood is biomass, everything. Means maximum of the provisioning services are the product of biomass or plant growth. So whatever is being produced by the growth of plants or growth of any other organism can be valued with productivity method. We can estimate the production functions, how much is the increment per year, per annum, like that. Damage cost avoided method, like estimates economic values based on the cost of avoided damages resulting from loss of ecosystem service. Means, like in case of shoreline protection, if mangrove is not there, how much will be the damage? So how much damage is being avoided having the mangrove? So this is that will be the services provided by mangroves. And what is the service? Service is the shoreline protection. So one is replacement or substitute cost method. So in this, we estimate economic value based on the cost of replacing that particular service. Suppose in case of mangrove also, if we want to replace mangroves with a wall, we can erect a wall in place of mangrove also. So the cost of erection of wall will be the cost of services provided by the mangrove. Like oxygen also. Now oxygen is being provided by the plants, green plants. But if we substitute or we replace that oxygen with the commercially available oxygen, so the services provided by the green plant, which service? Oxygen production, can be valued with the replacement of oxygen with commercially available oxygen cylinders. One is mitigation. Suppose in the absence of any service, some damage happens. So cost incurred in mitigation or restoration that damage, that can also be the value of that service. Travel cost method. It's basically used for the ecotourism valuation or recreation valuation. Assume that the value of a site is reflected in how much people are willing to pay to travel to visit that site. There are n number of costs involved when some person is visiting some site, some ecotourism site, like entry fee, food cost, travel cost, opportunity cost of time, and his own willingness to pay to have that services being remain available. Hedonic price. Estimate economic value for ecosystem or environmental services that directly affect the market price of some other goods, like this. So this is a sea-facing apartment. So everyone is well aware about the sea-facing apartment or like east-facing houses or the house near to the any green space like park or other thing are normally expensive. Why? Because existence of green space is increasing the value of that particular house or particular plot or particular flat. So the difference between the value of that house near to the green space and the house far to the green space is the existence value of that green space. The services is being provided by that green space can be valued by hedonic pricing method. This is all about the hedonic pricing method. So there are two survey-based methods also. That is contingent valuation method. Under this method, we estimate economic values based on asking people directly state their willingness to pay for a specific environmental service based on hypothetical scenario. Under these methods, we value those services which cannot be sold or bought in the open market or in the real market. So we have to create a hypothetical market in the mind of respondent, and we have to ask how much they are willingness to pay for the specific environmental service. So what we do in this, we can make a bundle of some of the non-marketed services and we can ask directly. One more method is there, that is contingent choice method. This is slightly advanced method to the contingency valuation method. In this method, we estimate economic value based on asking people directly, making trades of among set of ecosystem services or characteristics. A very, very difficult method and involves highly precise econometric techniques, statistical techniques. So one is benefit transfer based. So under this, we estimate economic value of transferring existing benefits estimates from studies already completed for another location or issues. If someone is having some interest in economic valuation, he must be aware about the Costanza's work. There is one scientist, Robert Costanza. He has done a lot of work on ecosystem services valuation. And everyone, almost everyone who is valuing the ecosystem services are using the values given by the Costanza and using benefit transfer method. He has done something, everyone using that and doing their own studies. Some values are being assessed by themselves and some values are being valued by the value given by the Costanza's paper. So everyone is requested, please go through the Robert Costanza's paper on ecosystem services valuation. You can write down the name Robert Costanza. So some assumptions are there for benefits accruing at different spatial scales. So in the previous slides or in initial slides, we have talked about the Millennium Ecosystem Assessment. They have given n number of services, 24 or more than. Like this, implement general. So don't be confused. I am talking about like provisioning services, regulating services, and cultural services. Or after that, use value, non-use value. All the things are same. Like a school having different classes and different classes having different students. It's like that only. But when we are going to value, so we have to value each service separately. Like agriculture service, fishing service, fuel wood grazing, etc., etc. And these n number of ecotourism, recreation, cultural heritage, nursery, pollination. So these are the scales. Which service is valuable at local level, which service is valuable at national level or global level. Maximum are for, like employment generation is for local completely, fuel wood local, grazing local, timber can be national, can be local also. And see, carbon storage, carbon sequestration, basically these are our national targets. So local importance is not that much, which is in national importance is too much in these type of services like carbon storage, carbon sequestration, water provisioning, water purification. And some are having the global things also, like biodiversity, biological control, or preservation of genetic resources, cultural heritage, ecotourism. Some ecotourism sites are being visited by the international tourists also. research education, having mostly national interest, but having some local interests and some global interests. So, can you see this picture, everyone? What it is basically means that guy is saving the environment by using bioethanol in place of petrol and reducing the emissions directly. But see what he's doing. The poor fellows are asking something, and what he's saying, sorry, I am busy saving the planet. You know, Srimati Indira Gandhi, then Prime Minister of India, told in Stockholm Conference in 1972 that ecosystem or environment cannot be protected in the state of poverty. जब तक आपके लोग के पास खाने के लिए प्रोविजनिंग सर्विसेज नहीं है और रोटी कपड़ा और मकान नहीं है, you cannot protect the environment. So after that, our ministry was set up. Our ministry means Ministry of Environment Forest. So now when we talked about this or all these things, so one more concept which came in mind, that is payments for ecosystem services. What these? These are basically payments for ecosystem services. This is a new approach for nature conservation, under which a variety of arrangements through which the beneficiaries of ecosystem services rewards those whose land provide these services with subsidies or market payments. Like tribal people, they are staying inside the jungle from centuries, from generations, and they are poor. And basically they are the service providers because they are conserving the forest. And who are the service takers? The persons are living in the towns. So these poor fellows who are living in jungles or who are the service providers, they should get something. So keeping this thing in mind, concept of payment for ecosystem service came in picture during last 10 to 20 years, not much old. So they have been defined as transparent system for the additional provision of environmental services through conditional payments to voluntary providers. See, some village or some habitations are in natural area, natural forest, or we can say upstream coastal service provider. This is a hill, we can say this is watershed, and this is a township. So these are providing ecosystem services like water quality, water quantity, erosion reduction, carbon capture, habitat conservation, etc., etc. And what they should do, they should make some payments or compensation or some incentives. There may be in cash, or maybe in kind, maybe in materials, maybe technical assistance, maybe in subsidies. Okay. So downstream ecosystem service user. See, government provides subsidies to the poor families, subsidies on LPG, subsidies on diesel, petrol, not petrol, subsidies on this kerosene, or other things like subsidies on fertilizers. So what are the subsidies? What these subsidies? These subsidies can be categorized as payment for ecosystem services, or subsidies in lieu of the services being provided by the farmers to the society. So इसको रहने देते हैं, थोड़ा सा टेक्निकल है. हाँ. Now this is all about the ecosystem services valuation or ecosystem services concept. Although one lecture is not sufficient, but I tried. So now we will discuss one case study which I have done, and it was the economic valuation of certain ecosystem services of Dibru-Sarkha Biosphere Reserve. This is a Biosphere Reserve in Assam, covering 2 districts, Dibrugarh and Tinsukia. And this is the map of that. This green part is basically a national park, and this is the buffer zone. This is River Brahmaputra, and this whole area is declared as Biosphere Reserve. So it was declared in 1997. Total area is 765 square kilometer. Core area 340 square kilometer. That is national park. Buffer area is 425 square kilometer. These are the latitude and longitudes. It was declared a wildlife sanctuary in 1996 and was upgraded to a national park in 1999. And in 1997, it was declared as Maheshwari Reserve also. And it is managed by Tinsukia Wildlife Forest Division. Tinsukia, having 2 forest ranges. So entire periphery of the buffer zone runs approx 202 kilometers, while that the core zone is 155 kilometers. The very small, not very big. So these are the landscape of this type of forest is there. This is Salix forest. This is some semi-evergreen forest, some tree gardens also, and one very big bridge also there in that particular national park only. And a lot of grazing pressure is there because there are few villages inside the core zone. So these are the forest types: Assam alluvial plains, cane breaks, East Himalayan most mixed deciduous forest, and so more. Originally, natural vegetation was tropical wet evergreen rainforest with grassland and reed beds. But during the Great Earthquake in 1952, large parts of reserve sunk by few meters, resulting in regular flooding in the area, and this was followed by the emergence of new type of vegetation. This was the Salix swamps and deciduous forest. Earlier, it was an evergreen forest, but now it is a swampy area filled with grassland and Salix. So this is the land cover of Maheshwari Reserve. These are the values outlined by our study: tangible or provisional services, biological diversity, regulating services, recreational, scientific, educational, this type, and this is the scale. Which services important for global level, national level, regional level? Like tangible services, like provisional services, are basically local level. So selection, we selected all provisional services for the valuation, and carbon sequestration as a regulatory service, and recreation as a cultural service. These 3 types of service we valued in that project. So how we quantified those and how we valued these services. So all the valuation done by us. So market price method was used for the valuation of provisioning services. The price fixed for different type of wood prescribed by the state forest department or state government for right holders were used. Fuel wood, NTFE, fodder, thatching materials, and other provisioning service was priced which prevailed in the local market using the market price methods, obviously. And these were the rates during 2019. Fuel wood was 200 rupees per cubic meter. Wood or timber was 5,205 per cubic meter. Fodder 1 rupees per kg. Thatching and fencing material 200 rupees per cubic meter. And NTFP including medicinal plants, etc., was having the various price, varying commodity to commodity. So quantification and valuation of regulating services, carbon storage. The estimated total carbon stock along with the social cost of carbon was used to get the economic value of carbon stock in Maheshwari Reserve. And social cost of carbon for India was around $86 per ton CO2 for the year 2017-18. And that time, $1 was equal to rupees 65. Quantification and valuation of cultural services, only recreational values were taken in the study. Zonal travel cost method. The type of travel cost method was applied to estimate the recreational value of National Park. And travel cost method basically based on comprehensive questionnaire. And this questionnaire was developed specifically for the project. And all the tourists coming to the national park were interviewed using that questionnaire. We did the telephonic interviews also, we did the on-site interviews also, and we did the mail interviews also. So results. This was the value of provisional services, fodder, timber, and those, and this is value extracted of forest product rupees in lakh per year. I have one summary also in last slide. This was the annual carbon sequestration in different LULC, land use land cover in core zone, and this is the total value per year. And this is for the per year for total carbon sequestration value of buffer zone. These are the tourist detail of last almost 7-8 years. So on an average, 3,000 tourists are to visit that particular national park. It's a very small one. This is a tourist flow. In rainy season, there are very less tourists, and this is the peak tourist season. This one, December, January means winters. So total revenue earned by the park is almost 2 lakh rupees per year in by the means of entry fees. But from our study, the total estimated consumer surplus or recreational value per year enjoyed by the tourist was 1 crore 1 lakh 12,884 per. And see how much was the revenue? Only 2 lakh. So almost 50 times. In previous slide, I told that economic value is much broader than the financial value. So financial earning from park is this much only, but total benefits earning, recreational benefit is more than 1 crore, which it comes around 2,892 rupees per tourist or per visit. So it can be concluded that the figure is a conservative estimation without the addition of opportunity cost. Or see, we didn't include the cost of time of visitors, because they spend the time also, one day, 2 day, 3 day, 4 day. Total annual recreational value of the park is almost 50 times to the average annual revenue, that is 2 lakh almost, and by the municipal park. So we can say only revenue collected through the entry fee or other charges do not reflect the true economic value of recreational services by the national park. That is revenue. So these are the findings. Forest landscape or DSLP provide almost 3,820 ton of fuel wood per year, which is valued 24.47 lakh per annum. These are the grazing, almost 854 lakh rupees per annum. Timber, thatching, fencing material, almost 88 lakh, 2 lakh, and 2 lakh per annum respectively. Community residing inside the national park extract almost 285 tons of wild vegetables, fruits, and other greens material. And the annual economic contribution of the same was estimated almost 52 lakhs. Recreation, these are the carbon stock value. Almost 20 lakh tons of carbon is being stored and is around 1,130 crores value. Total carbon sequestration is almost 32,000 tons per annum, which is almost 124 crores per annum, equivalent of rupees. Net recreation value of DSNP means Tribute Circle Park was calculated almost 1 crore, and this is per visitor, 2,892 rupees per visitor. Consumer surplus or recreational value or recreational benefit or ecotourism value, whatever we can say. These are some photographs of the study. We were doing the survey. See, these are the main attraction of that national park. This is the only national park where wild feral horses can be seen. See, fuel collection, see, timber extraction, grazing, and this is from my side. Any question is welcome. Thank you. Dr. Kaushal, over to you. Dr. Kaushal.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah.
For delivering your work results, and ecosystem services methodology, how can be used. And that is nowadays most of the projects are become worthy by adding this ecosystem services.
Any type of suggestion, any type of help, any type of means contribution from my side. If any trainee wants, he can directly write to me what kind of help they need in their studies, in their projects, in their any kind of work related with the ecosystem services valuation. I am happy to help.
We are coming, sir. Now session is open for questions from the participant side. Now session is open. Any participants may ask the question directly.
Hello.
Yeah.
Namaskar, sir. Sir,
madam.
as you shown that you have to calculate carbon sequestration potential.
Yeah.
Sir, I want to ask that suppose that I have to estimate carbon sequestration potential of forest species, any species, and I have only DBH data and volume only. So how we can calculate carbon sequestration?
Madam, actually there is a formula, environmental formula in forestry. Okay, you can go any forestry mensuration book. So you can go on the net also. Environmental formula is for the increment, to calculate the increment of different type of forest. Like if some tropical forest, subtropical forest, dense forest, moderate dense forest. So they give by using that formula we can calculate the increment. And what is the sequestration? Sequestration basically the increment. Okay.
Yes, so, sir, means we should have data about CAI.
No, not required.
Okay.
And
means
one more thing, madam. One more thing.
Annual changes of volume.
One minute, madam. Listen. Actually, CI data is available for the forest types. CI data is not available for the species.
Okay, sir.
Okay. Some species having volume tables, but calculation of the age is itself is a very difficult task of the forest.
Yes.
So we have the CI values for different type of forest, like tropical evergreen forest, semi-evergreen forest. So if you can categorize those species, if you have the data from forest, so you can directly calculate the CI. But if you are having the data of individual trees, like from the tree outside of forest, so you can use the environmental formula, or you can have the periodical data like first year data, second year data, third year data. You can go for the carbon sequestration.
Means we have to depend on secondary data.
Secondary data is yours only, na, madam. You are having volume data. This is primary data. Okay.
Yes.
For the value of CI, you have to go for the secondary source information. Or environmental is only having is a formula only, which is using the CI of a specific forest and existing biomass or existing volume.
Okay.
There are n number of methods available to calculate carbon sequestration from the existing ground stock. Or if you have time, just go again, visit those plots or those trees again, and just calculate the increment. Okay.
Yes, sir. Definitely, sir. Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
Any other?
Okay. Thank you, sir.
So I think it is the best way. You take the diameter periodically after 1 year. You want to annually in annual increment. So on the basis of annual increment, you can calculate the increment in biomass expansion.
Actually, all formula can give a rough value like near to real. But if you want to calculate real value, you should go with periodical data. First year, second year, third year, like that. At least 3 years. Yeah, any other?
Yes.
Hello.
Yeah, Dr. Gallo.
Sir, I have one question.
Yeah.
Leaf of some trees like mahua are used as fodder. And their market value is not available in the website like NMPB or other sites. How can you value this tree, or how can you evaluate this price of this tree?
Not just you are talking about the fodder value of any particular tree. Okay.
Yes.
So there are methods like substitution method, replacement method.
Okay.
If you mahua leaves are, if they are freely available, people are cutting freely from the forest.
Yes.
If they replace this free service from any paid service, so directly can take the value. You can take the value directly from the paid service. Like if they have to purchase fodder from the market, how much they have to pay?
It vary from district place to place.
Definitely, because every community is vary from district to district.
Yes.
Okay. So we can value for one district, we can value for other district, and we can average. If you want to go for the overall estimate from many of the districts, then average those. Yeah. Anything?
I have one small query, sir. Sir. How did you evaluate fodder 1 rupees per kg in your study?
Actually, here some market fodder was available in green fodder was available. People were selling grasses. So it was like 5 rupees, 10 rupees bundle, 20 rupees bundle. We were having the weight of that bundle. हमने उस बंडल को सीधे सीधे तोल लिया. सपोज 10 किलो का बंडल था और वो लोग 10 रुपए में बेच रहे थे. तो that is 1 rupees on an average.
सर फोल्डर वैल्यू या लीफ या राइजोम की मतलब तो कॉस्ट निकालने के लिए कोई साइट आप रेफरेंस मतलब बताएंगे जो हम लोग रेफरेंस के तौर पे यूज कर सकें?
देखिए फोल्डर वैल्यूएशन के लिए देखिए आप जब फोल्डर देखिए फोल्डर दो टाइप का होता है. वन इज स्टॉल फीडिंग फोल्डर, सेकंड वन इज ग्रेजिंग फोल्डर. सो व्हाट काइंड ऑफ फोल्डर यू वांट टू कैलकुलेट? स्टॉल फीडिंग फोल्डर और ग्रेजिंग फोल्डर?
ग्रेजिंग फोल्डर सर.
ग्रेजिंग फोल्डर ना देखिए ग्रेजिंग फोल्डर में आप डिफरेंट अगर आप चाहे कि आप ट्यूबर को अलग निकालें और लीव्स को अलग निकालें, इज वेरी डिफिकल्ट बिकॉज यू हैव टू क्वांटिफाई दैट. सो फर्स्ट थिंग यू हैव टू क्वांटिफाई द थिंग्स. वैल्यूएशन तो उसके बाद की बात है ना.
जी
पहले क्वांटिफाई कीजिए. क्वांटिफाई में क्या होता है जो बेस्ट अवेलेबल मेथड है. देयर इज अ पेपर ऑफ डॉक्टर सिलोरी फ्रॉम WII वाइल्ड लाइफ इंस्टीट्यूट.
ओके सर.
यू कैन सी एंड डॉक्टर पांडे राजीव पांडे's पेपर also is there. So actually we calculate the hours for what the cattle or your cow is grazing. Suppose 8 hours. So we know there are formula कि 8 घंटे में एक cow अगर लगातार grazing करेगा तो कितना kgs of green fodder they can consume.
Okay.
So first you have to quantify. When quantification is done, valuation is not a problem.
इसके लिए कोई रेफरेंस साइट या कुछ होगा सर जो हम लोग साइट कर सकें?
नहीं मैंने आपको बताया ना मिश्रा एंड स्लोरी. अब मैं डॉक्टर कौशल को भेज दूंगा. डॉक्टर कौशल आपको शेयर कर लेंगे चीजें. ठीक है. तो कई पेपर हैं, कई रेफरेंसेस हैं, मेरे पास भी है, मेरा अपना भी है. ठीक. तो मैं आपको वही या तो आप डायरेक्ट ईमेल दे दीजिए वरना मैं डॉक्टर कौशल को भेज देता हूँ. ही विल शेयर आफ्टर द ट्रेनिंग ऑन एज ए रिसोर्स मटेरियल.
ठीक है.
ओके. एनीथिंग?
ओके. थैंक यू सर. थैंक यू.
या.
Any more question from the participant side?
And happy Holi to all.
I think there is no more question. But there is a question in chat box sent by Brajesh. Oxygen production by plants are being calculated as service or not, sir?
Definitely is service.
Air purification or which type of service you want to ask?
This is regulating service.
Yeah, regulating service.
Yeah.
So any question from any participant side? Yeah, I think there is no more question. So thank you very much, sir, for giving an excellent lecture, and you spare your valuable time with us. And now I would like to Dr. Mohammad Nasir to give a formal vote of thanks to sir. Now over to you, Dr. Mohammad Nasir.
Hello, sir. It was really a very nice talk, sir. And I would say that you are doing a very difficult work, sir, because calculating a value of a tangible things like I do for the wood and wooden products It's very easy. We see the product and then we decide it. We don't need to be an economist for that. We can, easily, any person can calculate the value of a product. But calculating a value of a intangible things, it is very difficult, and you have to be expert of, means you must be having a good knowledge of integrated subject, I guess, for the economics, for the environmental, and so many things you have to be aware of. So it is a very difficult task you are doing, sir. And I also believe that it is nowadays it is necessary to calculate the value of this intangible thing. Then only we can realize the value we are enjoying. Then only we can understand the significance of that intangible thing, like so many intangible things you told about. So part of that, sir, I would say that your talk was very interesting, and it was very elaborative and very informative, and I am sure that all the participants have really enjoyed it, thoroughly enjoyed it, and learned from it, sir. So with this word, sir, I would, on behalf of the organizing committee and my own behalf, I really thank you, sir, and thank you very much for your such a nice informative lecture, sir. Thank you.
Yeah,
Namaskar, sir.
thank you. Namaskar.
And happy Holi to you, sir.
Yeah.
And to all.
आप लोगों का तो शायद आज बंद है ना, हमारा तो आज ऑफिस ही चल रहा है.
Yes, it is close to you, sir. Yes.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Dr. Nasir, you are muted. We can't hear you.
Doctor, okay, so Dr. Maheshwari, if you want to talk to the participants, please.
Yeah, great. So I guess some of the participants are still missing. Only 26 I can see, out of which we 4 are, from the organizing committee. Anyway, so I guess if 21 participants are still there, we can have, some conversation, and we can, convey our warm wishes on the occasion of one of the major festivals, Holi. So happy Holi to all. Wishing you a very happy, colorful, safe in nowadays is very important. Anyway, so coming to the end of the 15th day, has been celebrated before Holi in the form of ecosystem services, the 3 lectures, and the ENFA, of course. So we will come back, to this schedule on 21st, that is Monday, and the valedictory so far has been scheduled on 23rd, second half. We are still working on finalizing a few more things on the valedictory, and we will, in due course of time, will share the minute-to-minute program with all of you. As you know, we will be off for 17, 18, 19, 17 is today, 18, 19, and 20, 3 days. And 6 lectures, not 6, 4 lectures have already been, filled up. So there are no certain gaps due to the Holi. So, as per the initial announcement, we scheduled 2 lectures in the first half, but due to the Holi holidays, we have already filled up this gap by having 1 lecture, almost like, an average, every alternative more or less day. If there are any lecture in gap, that would also be filled on 21st or maybe on 22nd. So with these words, wishing you a very happy Holi to you and your family and your colleagues and friends from the Banda University of Agriculture and Technology. And of course, before signing off, I would take this opportunity that we have got a very overwhelming response who would like to share their thoughts, experiences, feelings over the valedictory session. But we do have a few more slots, so please, be a volunteer and respond to the email which we have sent you. We would try to accommodate as many as of you possible and be vocal on that day, because that was the last day of the journey which we have started on 3rd. So this is the ongoing journey, and wishing you a very happy Holi and a great and safe weekend and holidays to you, and see you on 21st. Thank you. Take care. Bye.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.